Welcome to today's growth journey. Let's dive right into our topic, English as a global connector. Sarah, why is English often called the universal language in business and everyday life?
Great question. Over 1.5 billion people speak English worldwide, making it the third most spoken native language, but easily the most influential for cross-border communication. In international business meetings, English often bridges gaps, allowing people from Tokyo and Sao Paulo to collaborate without learning each other's native languages.
That's fascinating. Considering this reach, do you think English has become more than just a language, maybe even a tool for opportunity?
Absolutely. Think of English as a digital passport. It unlocks access to global job boards, multinational teams, and even cutting-edge research. In fact, over 80% of academic journals are published in English, so it's essential for career advancement and lifelong learning.
Speaking of career advancement, let's talk jobs. Statistics show that English proficiency can boost earning potential significantly. Sarah, can you elaborate on how English impacts employability?
Definitely. According to a Cambridge English study, employees with strong English skills earn up to 30% more than peers with similar qualifications but weaker language skills. Multinational corporations often list English fluency as a top requirement, especially for roles in management, sales, and customer support.
So, in a way, English can be considered an investment. Would you say that's accurate?
Exactly. It's like buying stocks in your own potential. With English, you're not just opening one door, you're unlocking a hallway full of doors to better paying jobs and international postings.
Let's shift to workplace dynamics. English is often the common ground in global offices. How does this affect teamwork and productivity?
It's transformative. Imagine a project team with members from 5 different countries. English enables seamless information flow, reduces misunderstandings, and fosters a sense of inclusion. A Harvard Business Review article found that companies adopting English as a corporate language saw a 25% boost in collaborative efficiency.
That's a tangible impact. But what about cultural nuances in English help bridge those too?
Yes, to a large extent. While no language can erase all cultural barriers, English provides a shared platform for negotiation, feedback, and brainstorming. It's like having a universal adapter in a room full of different plugs.
Transitioning to technology, let's discuss how the digital revolution has amplified the importance of English. Sarah, what trends are you seeing in tech-driven industries?
The digital world runs on English. Over 55% of all web content is in English, including tutorials, forums, and open source code. For instance, software documentation and major platforms like GitHub, LinkedIn, and Stack Overflow operate primarily in English.
So, would you say that lacking English skills limits access to digital tools and knowledge?
Absolutely. Without English, it's like trying to navigate the internet with one eye closed. You miss out on resources, networking, and learning opportunities that are vital for career growth in tech and beyond.
Let's address the elephant in the room, fear of making mistakes. Many learners hesitate to speak English at work. How can one overcome this psychological barrier?
Fear is natural, but reframing mistakes as stepping stones rather than setbacks is key. Researchers at the University of Cambridge found that learners who practice regularly in real-life situations improve fluency twice as fast as those who focus solely on grammar drills.
So, embracing imperfection is part of the journey. Any practical tips for building confidence?
Absolutely. Start with small talk, join English-speaking groups, or use language exchange apps. The more you practice, the less intimidating English becomes, transforming fear into curiosity and growth.
Moving forward, let's explore how English proficiency varies by industry. Is learning industry-specific vocabulary important?
It's crucial. For example, healthcare professionals need to master medical terminology, while hospitality workers focus on customer service phrases. A 2021 survey revealed that tailored English programs led to a 40% improvement in job performance for non-native speakers.
So, one size fits all doesn't work. How should learners approach this customization?
Identify key phrases and jargon in your field, then practice them in context. Shadowing industry podcasts or reading sector-specific articles in English accelerates both competence and confidence.
Let's talk about networking. How does English proficiency enhance personal branding and professional connections?
With English, you can join global forums, attend international conferences, and engage with professionals on platforms like LinkedIn. Being able to articulate your expertise in English amplifies your visibility and credibility worldwide.
Can you share a real-world example of this impact?
Certainly. I coached an engineer from Brazil who, after improving his English, was invited to speak at a European tech summit. His LinkedIn profile views tripled, leading to several job offers from overseas.
The rise of remote work has changed the employment landscape. How essential is English for remote job seekers?
English is practically the default language for remote teams, especially in tech, marketing, and customer service. Employers increasingly list English fluency as a must-have, regardless of location, because teams are distributed across continents.
Does this create new opportunities for those outside English-speaking countries?
Absolutely. Remote work erases borders, so mastering English can transform your local prospects into global ones, allowing you to compete for roles at leading firms without leaving your hometown.
Let's get practical. What are some actionable steps listeners can take today to boost their English for job opportunities?
First, set specific goals like mastering interview questions or customer service phrases. Next, immerse yourself in English media, podcasts, news, and work-related YouTube channels. Finally, seek feedback by joining online language communities where you can practice and improve continuously.
That sounds manageable. Is consistency more important than intensity in learning?
Consistency is key. 10 minutes daily trumps sporadic hours. Learning a language is like watering a plant. You need regular attention for steady growth and blooming opportunities.
As we wrap up, let's reflect on mindset. How does adopting a growth mindset influence English learning and career progress?
A growth mindset turns challenges into catalysts. Instead of fearing failure, you see each setback as valuable feedback. Stanford research shows that learners with a growth mindset are 40% more likely to reach advanced proficiency over time.
So it's not just about language, but about attitude and persistence. Any final inspiration for our listeners?
Remember, every word you learn is a building block for your future. Embrace the journey, celebrate progress, and never underestimate the power of English to transform your opportunities and your life.
Welcome to the show. Today, we're diving into why mastering English can open doors for those aiming to study abroad. To start, can you share how English serves as a global bridge for international students?
Absolutely. English is often referred to as the lingua franca of academia. According to the British Council, over 80% of academic journals are published in English. This means that being fluent not only enables students to access cutting-edge research, but also to communicate with peers worldwide.
That's fascinating. So, for someone dreaming of studying in, say, Germany or Japan, where English isn't the native language, does English still play a pivotal role?
Definitely. Even in non-English speaking countries, many top universities offer programs entirely in English. For instance, over 500 courses in Germany are taught in English. This trend is growing globally, making English the default language for international academic collaboration.
Let's shift to practicalities. Most universities abroad require English proficiency tests like TOEFL or IELTS. Could you explain why these assessments matter so much in the admissions process?
Great question. These tests measure a student's ability to understand lectures, participate in discussions, and complete assignments in English. Admissions committees use scores as a predictor of academic success. A study by ETS found that students with higher TOEFL scores had better first-year GPAs.
So, it's not just about passing a test, but genuinely being able to thrive in an English-speaking environment.
Exactly. Universities want to ensure students won't struggle with language barriers, which can impact both learning and well-being.
Beyond academics, campus life is filled with social interactions. How does English help international students integrate into these multicultural communities?
English acts as the common denominator among students from diverse backgrounds. It enables meaningful conversations, participation in clubs, and forming friendships. For example, a 2021 survey found that international students with strong English skills reported 43% higher satisfaction in social engagement.
That's a significant difference. So, English isn't just about academics, but also building a sense of belonging.
Absolutely. It's about connecting on a human level, which is crucial for mental health and personal growth when living abroad.
Transitioning to another vital aspect now, does English enable students to access university resources and support systems effectively?
Most university websites, orientation materials, and counseling services are offered in English, even in non-English speaking countries. Without proficiency, students might miss out on essential information about scholarships, internships, or even emergency procedures.
That paints a clear picture. Can you imagine a scenario where lack of English could lead to serious misunderstandings?
Certainly. Imagine needing medical attention and struggling to describe symptoms, or missing an internship deadline because information wasn't understood. Proficiency in English helps prevent such setbacks.
Let's talk about the future. How does studying in English impact a student's career prospects after graduation?
Employers increasingly value multilingualism, but English remains the top requirement in international job markets. The Economist Intelligence Unit reports that 70% of global employers prioritize English skills as it facilitates collaboration across borders and industries.
So, mastering English during studies abroad translates directly to a competitive edge in the job market.
Exactly. It signals adaptability, communication skills, and readiness for global roles.
On the topic of cultural adjustment, how does English proficiency ease the process of adapting to new customs and traditions?
Language is the gateway to understanding culture. Proficient English speakers can ask questions, clarify misunderstandings, and participate in local events. This fosters deeper cultural appreciation and minimizes the risk of accidental offense or isolation.
Could you give an example where language competence helped bridge a cultural gap?
Certainly. A student in the UK joined a debate club and, through discussions in English, learned about British humor and social norms, which would have been inaccessible otherwise.
With the rise of digital learning, how does English proficiency empower students to utilize online resources effectively?
Most major platforms like Coursera, edX, and Khan Academy deliver content in English. A 2022 report noted that over 60% of MOOCs are English-based, so understanding the language unlocks a treasure trove of supplementary learning, from coding tutorials to research webinars.
That's invaluable, especially for self-driven learners seeking to supplement their education.
Indeed, it allows students to stay current, upskill, and even connect with global experts through forums and virtual events.
Confidence is key when living far from home. In what ways does English fluency contribute to a student's independence while studying abroad?
Fluency empowers students to navigate daily life buying groceries, using public transport, or seeking help when needed. It reduces reliance on translators or friends, fostering a sense of autonomy and self-efficacy that's fundamental to personal growth.
So, language skills aren't just academic, they're life skills.
Precisely. They shape a student's ability to adapt, problem solve, and thrive in unfamiliar environments.
Let's broaden our view. How does learning English transform a student's mindset from a simple language learner to a true global citizen?
Learning English exposes students to diverse viewpoints through literature, media, and dialogue. It cultivates empathy, open-mindedness, and critical thinking qualities essential for engaging with global challenges and opportunities.
So, in a way, language becomes a tool for personal and societal change.
Exactly. It's about becoming a bridge builder, able to contribute to discussions that transcend borders and cultures.
As we wrap up, can you share practical advice for those aspiring to study abroad but feeling daunted by the prospect of learning English?
Start small, engage with English media daily, join conversation groups, and set realistic goals. Utilize free resources like podcasts or language exchange platforms. Remember, progress compounds, and even incremental improvement brings you closer to your dream.
That's encouraging. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards are transformative.
Absolutely. Embrace the process, stay persistent, and you'll not only unlock academic doors, but discover new facets of yourself along the way.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're exploring why learning English can be a game changer for global travelers. To start, could you share how English acts as a universal passport for adventurers crossing borders?
Absolutely. English serves as a bridge language in over 100 countries. Even if you visit non-English speaking regions like Thailand or Turkey, you'll find airport staff, tour guides, and hotel employees often default to English to assist international travelers.
That's fascinating. So, in essence, English functions like a common currency for communication abroad, but how does this impact the accessibility of travel experiences for non-native speakers?
It's transformative. According to a 2022 EF Education First report, travelers with basic English skills access 57% more destination options and activities. Without English, many excursions, from scuba diving in Bali to hiking in Peru, become logistically challenging.
Let's zoom in on logistics. Navigating airports, train stations, and public transport can be daunting. How does English proficiency simplify these moments of transit?
Most international transit hubs use English for signage, announcements, and ticketing systems. Even in places like Japan or Germany, safety instructions and emergency protocols are often available in English, ensuring you don't miss vital information.
Interesting. Does this mean English learners are less likely to get lost or make travel mistakes?
Exactly. A 2019 Skyscanner survey found that 68% of travelers who spoke English reported fewer stressful incidents abroad, such as missing connections or misreading schedules.
Beyond logistics, travel is also about human connection. How does speaking English help travelers break through cultural barriers and foster genuine relationships?
Great question. English is often the language of international friendship. For example, backpacker hostels in South America or Europe usually use English as the social lingua franca, letting people from different continents bond over shared stories.
So, it's like an instant social toolkit, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about ordering food, it's about participating in community events, understanding local humor, and forming lifelong friendships.
Let's talk independence. Does English proficiency allow travelers to break away from guided tours and set their own itineraries?
Definitely. When you're comfortable with English, you can read maps, negotiate with local vendors, and book accommodations on the fly. It transforms travel from a scripted experience into a personal adventure.
That's empowering. Are there specific examples where English opened up unexpected opportunities?
Absolutely. I once met a traveler in Vietnam who, thanks to her English skills, got invited by locals to a traditional wedding, something she'd never have known about through a tour group.
Safety is a top concern. How does English proficiency support travelers in accessing critical information, especially in emergencies?
English is the default language for international emergency services, embassy support, and health advisories. For instance, during the COVID-19 pandemic, real-time updates were most readily available in English, allowing travelers to make informed decisions quickly.
That's vital. Does this extend to everyday situations, like seeking medical help or reporting lost items?
Absolutely. Hospitals, police stations, and even pharmacies in major tourist cities almost always have someone who can communicate in English, greatly reducing stress in critical situations.
Let's savor the flavors of travel. How does speaking English help travelers dive deeper into local culinary and cultural experiences?
Menus, cooking classes, and food tours often offer English translations or guides. For example, in Italy, English-speaking chefs can explain the history behind dishes, turning a simple meal into a rich cultural lesson.
So, English acts as a key to unlock the stories behind the food and traditions?
Exactly. It bridges the gap between surface-level tourism and meaningful engagement with a place's heritage and people.
Many aspiring travelers hesitate due to fear of the unknown. How does learning English help build the confidence needed to step outside one's comfort zone?
Mastering English is like adding an extra layer of armor. It reduces anxiety about misunderstandings and empowers you to ask for help, negotiate prices, or clarify directions without hesitation.
Are there psychological benefits too?
Absolutely. Studies from Cambridge University show that language competence increases self-efficacy, making travelers more likely to explore off-the-beaten-path destinations.
In the digital age, apps and online resources are essential. How does English proficiency amplify the benefits of travel technology?
Most travel apps like Google Maps, TripAdvisor, and Airbnb are optimized for English users. Instructions, reviews, and troubleshooting guides are more accurate and detailed, streamlining trip planning and problem solving.
So, tech-savvy travelers with English skills have a real edge?
Exactly. They can access exclusive deals, join global forums, and even troubleshoot issues directly with customer support teams.
Travel often leads to unexpected opportunities. How does English unlock doors for working, studying, or volunteering abroad?
English is the primary language for international internships, study programs, and NGOs. For instance, UNESCO and Peace Corps require applicants to communicate in English, enabling them to impact communities around the world.
Does this extend to networking and career growth?
Absolutely! Networking events, conferences, and industry meetups abroad commonly use English, expanding your professional and personal horizons.
For listeners inspired to start learning, what are the most effective strategies for acquiring English, specifically for travel?
Immerse yourself in travel-focused English Watch documentaries, join language exchanges, or use apps tailored to tourism scenarios. Setting achievable goals, like mastering 50 essential phrases, builds momentum.
Are there unconventional methods that work well?
Certainly, volunteering with international travelers in your hometown or hosting couchsurfers can provide real-life practice, boosting both language skills and cultural understanding.
To wrap up, could you share a story where English transformed a traveler's journey in an unexpected way?
I recall a young man from Brazil who, after months of practicing English, navigated solo across Europe. He not only avoided common pitfalls, but also forged friendships with people from 7 countries, each connection made possible by a shared language.
That's truly inspiring. Any final words of encouragement for our listeners hesitant to take the first step?
Remember, every word you learn is a key to a new adventure. Embrace the challenge, and you'll find the world opening in ways you never imagined.